The baby's cry tore through the stillness like a bullet through glass. All across the dry plains, under a moon that looked like a dying lantern, the sound echoed, thin, sharp, desperate. It came from a lonely cabin at the edge of Dustwater Creek, where a man in a worn leather vest paced the wooden floor with shaking hands and hollow eyes. Eli Morgan hadn't slept in 3 nights. Not since Sarah died birthing the boy. He'd buried her himself, out behind the cabin, beside the old cottonwood. Now, every time the wind rustled the leaves, it sounded like her voice calling his name. But tonight, it wasn't her voice, it was their baby's wailing, high and relentless. He'd tried everything, milk, rocking, singing half-remembered hymns, but nothing worked. His head lay on the floor, his nerves shredded thin. "Please, boy," he whispered, voice trembling, "your mama wouldn't want you crying like this. Please." The baby only screamed louder. From across the barbed wire fence, another lantern flickered to life. The neighbor, Clara Mae Dawson, stood at her window, her hands still and pale against the sill. Folks said she was a widow. Her husband had been buried 2 winters ago, killed in a mine collapse. Since then, she'd spoken to no one, just tended her small garden and kept her shutters closed. But tonight, something in that baby's cry broke through her silence. It was the sound of a heart crying for something it couldn't have, and Clara knew that sound too well. When she couldn't bear it any longer, she wrapped her shawl tight and stepped into the cold night. The sand crunched under her boots as she crossed the fence, one she had never crossed before. Eli heard the gate creak open. His hand went to the revolver on the table. "Who's there?" he barked, his voice sharp with exhaustion and fear. "It's Clara Mae," came the reply, soft but steady. "Your neighbor." He froze. The baby still wailed, red-faced and trembling in his arms. "It's late, ma'am," he muttered. "Ain't proper." She stepped into the lantern light, her face calm, eyes dark as storm clouds. "That child's been crying for hours, Mr. Morgan. Let me help." Eli hesitated. No one had dared come near since the funeral, not even the preacher. But there was something about her voice. It didn't pity him, it commanded him. "Fine," he rasped, handing the baby over like he was getting away a piece of his heart. The moment Clara took the child, the air in the room changed. She held him close, pressed his tiny face to her shoulder, and began to hum, a low, trembling tune, half lullaby, half prayer. It was a sound Eli hadn't heard since Sarah was alive. Slowly, the baby's cries softened, then stopped. Within minutes, he was asleep, breathing deep and calm against Clara's neck. Eli stared like he was seeing a miracle. His eyes glistened, the lantern flame trembling in their reflection. "How'd you?" She didn't answer at first. Just swayed a little, eyes distant, humming the same sad tune. Then she said quietly, "You've been feeding him too cold. Babies can't hold milk like that. Heat it slow, not fast." He swallowed hard. "You had children." "Had," she said simply. That one word carried more grief than a whole sermon. The wind whispered through the cracks in the cabin walls. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Then Eli took a breath. "He don't have a name yet," he said. "Couldn't bring myself to name him," Clara interrupted gently. "If you don't, he'll always cry for something missing." Eli's jaw tightened. He looked down at the sleeping child. Sarah wanted to call him Luke. Clara smiled faintly. "Luke Morgan, that's a strong name." The clock ticked. The baby slept peacefully, the first time since birth. Clara turned to leave, pulling her shawl closer. But at the door, Eli stopped her. "Thank you," he said hoarsely. "I didn't think anyone had ever come round again." She met his gaze for a long, fragile moment. "Don't let the fences stay up too long, Mr. Morgan," she said softly. "They keep out more than just people." And with that, she stepped back into the moonlight, vanishing into the dark like a ghost carrying a song. That night, Dustwater Creek went silent again. But from the cabin, a new sound rose, a baby breathing in rhythm with the desert wind, and a man whispering his son's name for the very first time.